Okay, we are back. We've acquired at least one other additional member of Strength in Numbers. Say hello, Jam. We
Hello.
may pick up more as the discussion goes on. Welcome to the spoiler stream! Thank you to everyone who watched the 4-hour narrative prelude to this event. At great cost and with many sacrifices, we have managed to steal back our preview cards from Défi de la Roulette, and we are here. I keep butchering that pronunciation. You can tell I haven't spoken French in a while.
You act like Russ would do better with it.
Fair enough. I feel like I should because I have actual French training, but that's beside the point. We're here to share our preview cards with you. So, folks, should we start with the one that the cryptography channel accidentally guessed despite me not giving them any hints, or should we start with the new build around?
Well, the one people know more is probably the right one, right? Yeah.
Just do that.
Build around.
All right.
Yeah.
Start with the one they already know.
Okay.
Start with the one people figured out. Yeah.
All right. In that case, I would like to introduce you to the one that you all guessed despite me not hinting at all. This is False Surrender. So, this is a really cool card. I don't know how you guys feel. The one thing is, both of these cards, I wish that I had them available for the pre-stream because they would be really cool. This one maybe less so because I wasn't running weapons, but let's read it down before we discuss. False Surrender. So it's a 1-cost rogue event, tactic trick. It's a parlay. And you choose an enemy at your location, like with all parlays, and play a weapon asset from your hand, reducing the cost by 1. You may then take a fight action with that weapon against the chosen enemy using agility instead of the skill indicated. So right off the bat, I see 2 actions for the price of 1. I see an agility switch on the weapon attack, which for rogues is usually a boost. I see no attacks of opportunity from the parlay. Anything else that people are noticing? I guess.
Tony is crying because he'd love this card, but that's a -3.
Yeah, the agility thing sucks for Tony.
Oh no.
Yeah.
2 more words: Kaimani sledgehammer. 2 other words: Rita chainsaw.
Yeah, dropping out a massive weapon and immediately getting a fight with it is really nice. Yes, it does go into Rita.
I hadn't thought of that, but Rita chainsaw, that's fun.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
You're getting a +3 on the attack for both of them because it gets from their strength stat, which is crap, to their agility.
The agility is also rough for Mark because Mark could take this because it's level 0. This is a lot for level 0. Like, holy crap!
Oh, it's a Oh yeah, it is a tactic card.
It is a tactic, so Mark can take it. Rita can take it. Roland, 2 Roland. Double parallel Roland.
Parallel Roland can take it. Yeah.
Yeah, as people were saying in the chat, I think it's just most impactful that it safely gets that weapon out. So it's just it's a good solution to the issue of there is an enemy on me, but I don't have my weapons out, so I'll need someone to take it off of me while I can get a weapon out. It just kind of cuts that out in the way.
Yeah, definitely. The agility, it's occurring to me. You mentioned Tony is also rough for Mark, but I feel like they could both balance it out with if they're like doing a well connected or something. But also, yes, the chat is also noticing that the art is an obvious Die Hard reference, which I also love. That's just everything about this card. I feel like it oozes theme. Like the moment that it's a whole thematic moment.
Wonderful thematic card.
Yeah. The single card produces this entire like moment in the narrative that's going to be really fun.
Hey, elsewhere. What helps the test, like the fight test you do on this card? Because there's some.
Oh, that's true. I did in fact. I asked Duke about this, or rather, I asked Xander, and Xander asked Duke. But because everything on this card takes place during a tactic and trick event with parlay, fine clothes. Preliminary ruling says fine clothes applies to the fight action. So that fight action is at -2. You can also spend your crafty or sleuth resources on this in order to...
would also take effect during the entire duration of this action.
Yep. So that's all kind of nuts. even more upside, as if this card needed any more upside. Anything else? I mean, I've been thinking, you guys know I build a lot of decks that use events over and over again. And this would be great in one of those, especially if you added like a Lupara scavenging loop and just kept bouncing the Luparas and then playing them out with this. That feels really good, right?
It feels good, but it also feels like it'd take a while to set up.
It might. My instinct for it.
I wish it was better.
My instinct for it is maybe
not
Bob.
being able to take Lupara is like the biggest crime.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The chat is mentioning slight archetype synergy, and yes, anything that's good with slight is good with this. This is kind of like it's obviously not exactly slight, but I feel like in some decks this is a third and a fourth copy of Sleight of Hand, which is a really good card, so no complaints there.
And of course, the final most important note: now you get to commit a new war crime in Arkham. So I love that.
Yeah, that's true. The war crime that joke, courtesy of Riley.
Yep.
Dialing up the numbers.
Child Soldier. Is that on the list?
Yeah, Adrian's mentioning Old Shotgun. This is in fact another way to bring Old Shotgun in fully loaded.
We give Wendy False Surrender 2 war crimes at once. Let's go.
Child Soldier with False Surrender. Oh no.
I don't know. You think Lightning Gun might be banned by Geneva Convention?
I don't know. It's an interesting question.
I mean, tasers are an electrical weapon, so.
I don't know if a lightning gun could call it a taser. Though.
I feel like there's a significant degree of scale.
Taser. What do you mean?
The most powerful taser. Des makes a good point. Sorry. Go ahead, Eli.
Yeah. So the big thing to note is if you do take the free fight action, you have to take the stat switch.
Yeah.
So someone like Leo.
It is not a May clause, unfortunate.
Yeah. That's why we're talking about Leo and Mark and Tony being kind of sad about that part.
Roland too. Parallel Roland.
Yeah, parallel Roland. There are definitely people who
are ways
frustrated by that.
Things, at least.
Parallel Roland's directives are a nice way to dial up the other stats.
Yeah,
I feel like
honestly,
you can mitigate
with
it.
Red Tape, this is just a fast 1 discount play. Which
Oh,
is
that's
true.
true.
Even if you don't queue, that's still pretty good.
That's amazing. Yeah, even if you don't take the fight action.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parallel Roland. Big fan of this card. The obvious comparison is Alessandra, because this is her box. Psychopath mentions Pete. Parallel Pete can take this. Normal Pete, I guess, also can take this. But that is quite good, actually.
He has a good stat line for it.
Basically, this is available to a lot of people, and it's really good in a lot of them. The point I was midway through making is just that brain collapse there. Alessandra, obviously, like, in principle she doesn't have that good fight, but having just played her for 4 hours, I feel like you combine Fine Clothes with Dirty Fighting and some other boosts, and you can totally get her fight manageable, even for the fights outside of this initial play where it uses Agility instead, which is a better stat.
Yeah, notably this does ignore Aloof.
Does it really?
Starsky is pointing out, because you take a fight action against that enemy because you choose an enemy when you play it.
Oh, that's really interesting. Hang on, I want to check that against the rules reference on ArkhamDB just to be sure. But
so you can parlay Aloof enemies, and this is part of a parlay action, so I'm pretty sure it all checks out.
Yeah, honestly, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Aloof. No, the wording of Aloof says an investigator cannot attack an aloof enemy while that enemy is not engaged with an investigator. It's not just about initiating, because that is still an attack,
Okay,
I think.
fair enough.
I mean, we could get a ruling that's different. I would say rules as written, it doesn't ignore aloof, but it's possible that's the intent.
Yeah. What are the thematics of false surrendering with a chainsaw? Is my question. Where's the chainsaw?
Strapped to your back with duct tape, obviously.
Yes. Jam, this is why they call it hammer space, because you reach the height.
Yeah.
It's like It's like the scene from Wonder Woman where she has the sword in the dress.
It's like, yes, exactly.
The chains.
Now I really like the image, like the class. You're like, where were you keeping that? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, so this is kind of amazing. I think this is just a supremely cool card, a supremely fun card, extremely effective.
Desmond doesn't fit the theme. He's to ignore aloof anyway. That's actually very accurate. Just like, no, I surrender. Surrender what? I'm not attacking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
You want to fight someone who's already a threat.
Oh, actually, well, notably, speaking of hidden pocket, you can use hidden pocket to have one hand in a chainsaw. So I don't know how that would work. I'll take that first. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we've analyzed this one enough.
We've done a good job on this one. Shall we move on to card number 2, the build around?
Let's show the second card.
All right.
Just as cool. I don't know about cooler. I think they're both very cool in different ways.
Introducing Eldritch Tongue. 2-cost, neutral asset, arcane slot. 4 charges. Yeah, this is the back of the box card. This is also the ritual that people did get my hint that one of these was a ritual. You may play events with parlay from your discard pile as if they were in your hand. As an additional cost to play an event this way, spend 1 charge from Eldritch Tongue. After that event resolves, remove it from the game. So we were talking about how the 3rd and 4th card in an archetype can make an archetype. This is the first 2 cards in an archetype, and I think all alone it makes the archetype. Like, I am so enthused because we have so few parlays, and the ones that we do have, their, effectiveness comes and goes. This can turn, 4 parlays. You could just have 2 copies of Interrogate and 2 copies of Persuasion and you have a deck all of a sudden that, works. Throw in your fine clothes, your dirty fighting,
and
everything.
Notably, they're not, because they're parlays, they're kind of situational, so it's a way to have them always after you use them.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically in your hand.
You don't necessarily care about looping them.
Yeah, exactly. If you're you won't run this in a cycling deck because you're gonna see the cards again anyway. But if you're a deck that only sees your entire deck once or twice per scenario or less, this is undeniable value. It's just an expansion to your hand that consists of every parlay in your discard.
Does this have the Wendy deck of can you infinitely loop, assuming you have charges like Beguile or...
I think because of the remove from the game, the attaches don't work. So Beguile, Power Word, and Existential Riddle aren't going to work with this because it doesn't specify when it's discarded, remove it from the game. It specifies after it resolves.
Right. Yeah.
So you resolve, you attach it, it gets the hell out of there.
To evade still, but then it would remove itself.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, Existential is a good evade piece. That makes sense. Everything else it works just fine. Full effect. Replay your Interrogate. Replay your... Yeah, people are mentioning Grift. Grift is crazy. And yes, the art is super awesome too. The art... I'm a huge fan of this card. It's not that often that we get to look at a single card and be like, oh hey, look, it's a new deck archetype. And I want to argue, I don't think it's only Al who's set up for this one. I think that we mentioned Parallel Roland. I think Parallel Roland is a great candidate. He can take a lot of the a lot of the parlay cards because of his deck building. And
yeah, no, I think I'm definitely I want to cook an Eldritch Tongue Interrogate Roland.
Yeah, I think that's a really good deck.
That sounds really fun. Yeah.
I was gonna say do this with Carolyn because there's a lot that she can take.
Oh, absolutely. Eldritch Tongue Carolyn is absolutely a strat.
I ran a parlay build back when I did Iron Man TCU a few years back with Mythic.
No, actually, notably, Carolyn can take String of Curses. I mean, anyone who can take String of Curses can.
I should also mention that. String of Curses, with this card, this is just a 0 XP version of the double or nothing, the double String of Curses insta-kill. You can just do it for 2 actions instead of 1 with this card at level 0, which is wild! Corrupt mentions this is gonna... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I say Krasley mentioned the chart using motivational speech with this.
Yep, you can set up a ton of allies. Corrupt mentions it's better the more expansions are added in the future. Yeah, definitely. Every time a parlay card is dropped, Eldritch Tongue strategies are going to get better forever. So that's also really fun. I'm thrilled that we
Also,
see
in
the
a
strategy
weird way,
now.
and I mean, it is like clearly double support because you get more options to play event. But you can also there are also more targets with friends in low places for rituals if you want to build that deck.
True.
And I like that a lot too.
Yeah, ritual ritual friends in low places is becoming increasingly viable, and I was already a fan of that, so more upside. Perford is asking if this is the first neutral arcane asset. Off the top of my head, I think yes, but I could be wrong. Pax says I'm going to be trying this with Mark.
Corruption doesn't take a slot, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. Pax mentions recurring interrogate in Mark with this. Yeah, honestly, I really feel like there are a lot of people who we didn't realize could be parlay investigators who are now parlay investigators because of this card.
I mean, I think it's more that the parlay cards, which weren't, that good, and they're obviously getting support now, like, this gives you a way to, get more value out of them, and they usually allow you to do things that your investigator wouldn't do.
Yeah, there's some flexibility. Interrogate in being better in Guardian, I feel like it's just huge in principle, because it's more efficient clues in Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
This is not our first neutral ritual. Purifying Corruption was.
Right, but it is the first that takes an arcane slot.
Oh yeah, yes.
This would have been a particularly exciting card in my the deck that I was playing in the pre-reveal. Just replaying them. The charges is interesting because Seeker and Mystic, great ways to recharge something. But you actually, the limiting factor I don't think is charges. I think it's the number of parlay cards you actually have. But that could change. I mean, we've seen Grift already.
Charges, there's always the Sophist Battery.
Yeah, exactly. Sophist Battery or, Winds of Power, any of the recharges from there. We've already seen Grift. We've seen our 2 cards today. Let me reveal False Surrender again as well. We've seen both of these. I doubt these are the only new parlay cards that are going to become available to the pool.
Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping for more cross-class options.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's always the thing, right? When an investigator comes along who has off-class access, you want to see their synergies off the class because that'll also broaden the strategy. But I'm impressed at how many people we're all already thinking about in the pool who could be a parlay build with this, even with the minimal stuff we've seen already. I that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited not just because Alessandra is so good and clearly is very supported by this set, but because other people who aren't Alessandra can also do parlay strategies now.
Mm-hmm.
Very enthused about this card.
Incredibly cool cards, I think.
Yeah. No, we're so blessed to be given these, and blessed courtesy of Sister Mary, I guess. To be given such cool cards. And yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you everyone who watched before. Thank you to everyone who has watched our breakdown here. And welcome to Community Content Creator Preview Season. I know there are a bunch of other awesome people who are going to be sharing previews over the next few months. I've heard that FFG will be releasing a calendar of those previews sometime in the next few days, hopefully. So look forward to that. Does anyone have any concluding thoughts about either of these fantastic cards? All right, I'll take that. We've been discussing them for a few days, so it makes sense. We've talked a lot. Psychopath says, excellent work, Wendy. Really worth the sacrifices. Thank you, Wendy, for getting these previews out of the Diffie.
I got you all those previews. Mission accomplished.
Woo! Mission accomplished. If you want to hear a few more of my thoughts, I'm going to be posting an article on our blog after this, and making the VODs and everything. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed these previews. And yeah, happy November, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Say goodbye, team.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.